Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Film Sci. 7. The Age of Innocence is his most violent movie. Scorsese has become one of the most beloved filmmakers of all time thanks to his gritty and borderline excessively violent movies like Goodfellas and The Departed. The director even had to desaturate the shots of blood in Taxi Driver's finale so it wouldn't get an X rating. However, out of all his movies, the director believes that his most violent of them is the Renaissance-era romantic drama, The Age of Innocence. According to Little White Lies, the director mentioned, "What has always stuck in my head is the brutality under the manners. People hide what they mean under the surface of a language. In fairness, just like in The Departed and Raging Bull, the characters in The Age of Innocence end up completely alienated, and it has an emotional pull that fewer other Scorsese movies do." Number 6. His movies don't lack female characters. While it seems obnoxious to tell a director how they should have made their movies, Scorsese's films do harbor the same constant criticisms. Many believe that his films don't have strong female characters, as all the most important women in his films mostly fit into the mob wife archetype, whether it's Henry Hill's wife, Colin Sullivan's fiancée, or Frank Sheeran's daughter. However, Scorsese couldn't disagree more and doesn't think his movies lack well-written female characters. Scorsese argued, "That's not even a valid point. It's a question I've had for so many years. It is a waste of everybody's time, but Scorsese hasn't directed a female-led movie in 50 years, with the only example being 1972's Boxcar Bertha, so he doesn't have much of a strong argument." 5. Scorsese likes The Exorcist to The Heretic. The Exorcist is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. It's one of only 7 horror movies nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. The sequel, on the other hand, holds a shocking 3.8 on IMDb and a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it one of the worst sequels of all time to one of the greatest movies of all time. But that's why it comes as such a shock that Scorsese enjoys the 1977 horror sequel. Not only that, but according to Far Out magazine, the filmmaker prefers the sequel to the original movie. The director commented, "I like the first Exorcist because of the Catholic guilt I have, and because it scared the hell out of me, but The Heretic surpasses it. Maybe Borman failed to execute the material, but the movie still deserved better than it got." 4. Rotten Tomatoes is not real film criticism. Scorsese calls the idea of score aggregators, specifically citing Rotten Tomatoes, hostile, whether there is an argument to be made when it comes to ratings from general audiences. As review bombing is becoming way too common, Rotten Tomatoes absolutely serves a purpose. The website gives audiences a general idea of how a particular film has been perceived by critics, and isn't totally based on arbitrary scores the critics have given. But Scorsese then turns his criticisms of the aggregate website to the critics themselves, comparing them to the increasingly desperate and bloodthirsty crowd near the end of Darren Aronofsky's Mother. 3. Joker is cinema, but he still hasn't watched it. Following his controversial comments about superhero movies, Scorsese called Joker remarkable and that it has a real energy, though that isn't a particularly unpopular opinion given that it arrived weeks after he called comic book movies theme park rides. He's seemingly grouping superhero movies into 2 different groups, cinema and not cinema, based on his own criteria, and as if it wasn't already suspect given that he was a producer on Joker instead to gain financially based on its success, he called it cinema even though he hadn't seen it. A couple of months later, the director revealed, "I saw clips of it, I know it, so it's like, why do I need to? I get it, it's fine." Number 2. Streaming content devalues cinema. Scorsese believes that streaming devalues cinema, arguing the art of cinema is being systematically devalued, sidelined, demeaned, and reduced to its lowest common denominator content. However, Scorsese is again currently working on his second movie that will be primarily available on a streamer, and Scorsese's next project, The Waiter, which will also star Leonardo DiCaprio, will be another Apple TV Plus exclusive too. If it wasn't for streaming, The Irishman never would have escaped development hell, and relative to other formats, streaming is still completely in its infancy, and while the platform might have its flaws, there's still plenty of time for them to be ironed out. Streamers are also good for original low to mid-budget movies, as so few movie studios are greenlighting them anymore. Number 1. 3D is liberating. Some of Scorsese's comments in recent years have shown how set in his ways the visionary auteur is, but he has always been quick to experiment with the technological advancements in cinema. Whether it's shooting digitally or de-aging, Scorsese has always helped advance the art of cinema, and that was no different with 3D. The filmmaker directed the kids' movie Hugo in 3D, and he explained, "3D is liberating. Every shot is rethinking cinema," via The Guardian. But based on the lack of 3D movies released since then, it's clear that the format wasn't quite as revolutionary that the director thought it would be. It's also telling that none of Scorsese's 3 movies since Hugo have been in 3D either. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.